grade 6, you and I, with Sir Benson, I'll be your English storyteller for today. Before I proceed to my story, I want to introduce my friend of mine. He is Matthew, a clerk at a gift wrapping station in a mall. Let's find out what he does at the mall. Are you there, Matthew? Yes, sir. I'm here, Matthew. Can you tell me what's your job at the mall? I'm a clerk at the wrapping station with Trevor, my co-workers. We wrap gifts. Oh, it's so exciting to hear your story about gift wrapping. Before I proceed to our story, let us unlock some difficulties.
So let us have the story, the box project. Matthew and Trevor have gotten a job working at the mall for the holiday season. They are both to be working in the wrapping station. During the holidays, the mall offers free gift wrapping. People can come through and have their gifts wrapped. If they want to make a donation, that money is used to help needy families. Matthew and Trevor both show up on their first day for training. Mrs. Scott, the manager of the wrapping station, shows them both where they will working. First, we need to show some great techniques for wrapping presents, Mrs. Scott explains. There are some ways that are more effective and useful than others. There is a round bottle of perfume, a shoebox, a soccer ball. What kind of shapes do you see here? Mrs. Scott asked the two students. On their second day at the mall, Matthew and Trevor were taken to the back room and tons of boxes were put together. They were all flat. This is where we keep boxes from wrapping, Mrs. Scott told them. That is a lot of boxes, Trevor said, looking at all the piles of boxes. Yes, and they all have gotten mixed up. We need you to sort them. Put all the squares boxes in one pile and all of the rectangular boxes in another pile. Then we will be able to get to the box that we need when the time comes, Mrs. Scott instructed. We can do that, Matthew said. Trevor did not look as certain. All right, I'll be back and check on you in a little while, Mrs. Scott said, walking away. What do you mean? We can do that? Trevor asked Matthew after Mrs. Scott had left. It's easy. The square ones look like the nets of cubes you know from mathematics class. The other boxes look like rectangular prisms. Trevor is puzzled. He can't remember what a net for a cube looks like. On his first day wrapping boxes, Matthew had a customer come up the counter with a huge box in her arms. This is a dollhouse for my niece, the woman said. Can you please wrap it? Certainly, Matthew said, looking at the box. The box was 40 inches length and 23 inches height. Matthew looked at the different rolls wrapping paper. He was going to need the largest roll of wrapping paper that he could find, and even then he was sure that it was going to take 2 pieces of paper. The wrapping station has a huge roll of paper on a big roller. This one was brand new. How big is this roll? Matthew asked Mrs. Scott. It is 24 inches wide by 900 feet long, Mrs. Scott said. That should be big enough, Matthew thought. Trevor is working on wrapping a container of Tinker Toys. It is a bit complicated because it is a cylinder. Trevor is on his third attempt, and woman bought the Tinker Toys is getting a bit impatient. I'm sorry, ma'am, Trevor said, smiling. Twice, Trevor did not cut his wrapping paper long enough. The third time, he decides to figure out the surface area of the cylinder first and then cut the wrapping paper. I should have done that to begin with. Trevor thinks to himself as he looks at the ruler on the table. Measuring the paper would have been easy had he known the dimensions. The height of the canister is 18 inches and the diameter of the cylinder is 6 inches. Trevor isn't sure that he has enough information to find the surface area of the cylinder. He stops to think about this for a moment. Does Trevor have what he needs? How can he find the surface area of the cylinder? One of the tasks that Matthew and Trevor have is to fill boxes with packing peanuts when wrapping something that is fragile. The boxes can hold a good amount of packing peanuts. Each day, one of the students goes to the storeroom to get big bag of packing peanuts. Then they work on filling 5 to 10 boxes halfway full of packing peanuts so that they are ready to go when the time comes. I wonder how much one box hold. Matthew asked Trevor one morning. I think that would depend on the box. I think that all tall, skinny box would hold more than a wide flat box, Trevor said, challenging him. I don't think about it. Tall may seem it like would hold more, but you can spread out the peanuts in the wide flat box. I think the wide flat one will hold more. Let's test it out, Matthew said. We can fill them and go back and count all of the peanuts. There is an easier way than that. We can use the dimensions and figure out the volume of each box. Matthew is a bit puzzled by that. He thinks that counting all of the peanuts would be quicker way to work. The two begin a short argument and decide to try out both methods. Matthew begins filling boxes and Trevor begins to work it through mathematically. Directions. Choose the letter of the correct answer. Write your answer in a sheet of paper. Number 1. What are the techniques taught by Miss Scott to Matthew and Trevor in wrapping gifts? A. Measure all the gifts that fit in the box and get wrapper ready for wrapping. B. Separate all same boxes according to their shape. Find out the size of the gift to put in the box and ready for wrapping. If your answer is letter B, you are correct. Number 2. What did Matthew do to wrap the dollhouse gift box? A. He first looked at the size of the box and cut out the exact size of wrapper available in a roll of paper. B. He took a gift wrap that he thought was exactly the size of the box. The answer? Letter A. He first looked at the size of the box and cut out the exact size of wrapper available in a roll of paper. Number 3. Why it is complicated to wrap the gift of Tinker Toys placed in the cylinder container? A. Lack of wrapper. B. Tinker Toys are not in the box. It is hard to measure the circular object with ruler. The answer is letter B. It is hard to measure the circular object with a ruler. Number 4. What are the solid figures you saw in the story? The solid figures are rectangular boxes, Cube box, cylinder tinker toy container. What lesson from the story we read can we apply in daily life? The lessons are: plan ahead, make sure of all things before deciding. Another, use math in daily activities such as measuring and calculating.
Did you learn something new today? Did you enjoy our class? Well, my brilliant learners, that's all for now. Hope you learned a lot today. And this is your teacher Benson, leaves you a thought. Keeps on study and your life will be happy. Bye-bye!
Shoutouts. Shout out to my wife Evelyn Kulipapa, to Justin Sonieka, Miel Pertucio, and San Roque Elementary School family headed by Madam Margarita Rodrigo.